Hello. It's Thursday, and you know what that means. Coffee. Thanks for joining me. My name is Abby, and I am with the Bead Place. Normally, Becky would be here with me, but she had something unexpected come up this morning, so it is just me today. So what we are doing today is our Choose Your Own Adventure part two. So we participate in a worldwide challenge once a month called the Color Combo Challenge. It was a really cool art project that was started by Carrie Griffiths and Paula Keene. And each month there is a different color combination. Usually they're Pantone swatches. I am working on getting that this month's swatch up on the screen for you to see. So last night we walked around our nearly 4,000 square foot bead store here in St. Louis. And with your help, we chose beads that match heliotrope, bright chartreuse, and pageant blue. So with your help, we selected those beads, and today what I'm going to be showing you is how those beads can work together to create a fun project. So this challenge is really fun because we can kind of bring ourselves out of the box that we often put ourselves in creatively, where we tend to kind of get stuck in certain colors that we seem to fall back into time and time again. So this challenge has really helped me to kind of open my eyes to color combinations that I might not necessarily have thought to put together, but it's really fun to see how they work together. Last night we kind of ran a little bit late, so we do still need to pick our seed bead colors. So we'll do that in just a few. But before we get started, if you wouldn't mind, like this video if you are watching on YouTube, heart the video if you're watching on Facebook, and share it with anyone that you think might enjoy it. That would mean a lot. So let's go ahead and switch down to the hand cam. There are some things that I would like to show you first before we get started. So last night we launched pre-orders for our kits for the Great Bead Extravaganza next weekend. I am working on getting a link for you guys for that so that you can check that out, and I will show you each bracelet in just a sec. Okay, where is it? Sorry, one sec. There we go. I had to refresh my page. Okay. So the bracelets that we launched last night are called First Blooms. They are each one is a wrap bracelet, and there's 3 different colorways. All right, there we go. There's that link for you guys. So each one is a wrap bracelet. There's 3 different colorways. The first one, let me get them untangled. They've got magnetic clasps here, so they like to stick together. Okay, so the first one is this one here. So this is the, I'm sorry, frost covered mint colorway. And so I will be showing you guys how to create this bracelet during next weekend's Great Bead Extravaganza. And then the next colorway is Golden Hour Lavender, which is this one right here. So shades of kind of dusty purples and mauves with some golds and amber tones. And then the last colorway, which we decided last night was going to be called Cinnamon Chai Rose instead of Chai Cinnamon Rose. So this is that particular colorway. So we've got some beautiful browns, ambers, and kind of dusty rose colors. So the other thing that I want to mention to you guys is that we are having a seed bead retreat, an easy seed bead retreat here at the Bead Place. The dates are going to be March 20th, 21st, and 22nd, and I'm going to link that in chat for you guys. The seats are 1/3 of the way sold out so far. We just opened registration right at the end of the year, and I'm putting the link in chat for you guys. And I'm going to share my page. Give me just a second, and I'll navigate over to that tab. Here it is. Share. Okay, so let's make sure. Okay, there we go. So this is the page on our website where you can see the retreat. And I put that in the link for you. The first project is our painted desert bracelet, which is a modified ladder stitch with picot edges. It's completely beginner friendly. And that is one of the classes that comes with the retreat. All your materials are included as well. Then the next one is a Russian spiral bracelet, which is another great beginner-friendly project that comes with the retreat. And materials come with it as well. So these are the two projects that are Saturday and Sunday of the retreat. And then after the early bird sign up is done, you will have the opportunity to sign up for additional classes. And we've been sharing some sneak peeks of those additional classes on our social media. So I'm very excited about that. That's going to be a ton of fun. And thank you to those of you that have shown or have signed up for that already. This is the bracelet that we just showed on screen. So with all of that talked about, let's choose some seed beads. So these were some of the seed beads that were selected to be chosen from last night. I am going to make it a little bit easier on myself today, and I am going to take out the 11s, even though I love this color. I think they might be a little bit too small for the project that I had in mind. We have some beautiful greens here. And if anyone feels strongly about any of these colors, let me know in chat. But I know because we have limited time today and I talked a while for the intro, I might make an executive decision here. So we've got these for the greens. We have these for the pageant blue. And then we have these for the purples. So I think what I'm going to do is pick this bright one for the greens and then pick this darker one for the blue and then this one for the purple. I feel like the other one is a little bit too brown toned. So the beads that you all, Quitting Time 33 says, Seahawks colors, whoop, that's funny. Yeah, it is. The beads that you all helped pick last night are this beautiful pile of beads here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start kind of getting into the design. So we've got some beautiful crystal beads here that it looks like Becky got started for me last night. I'm going to open those up. And we have, let's see, have some really nice check glass rondelles here. These have a little bit of a copper edging to them. So last night we pretty much all but 100% decided that copper was going to be our metal of choice. So that is what we are going to work with today. So next we have this beautiful metallic lime punch fire polish. And then we have beautiful blue goldstone. Isn't that pretty? And so goldstone is one of those interesting gemstones that it's not technically a natural stone, but it still counts as a gemstone just because of its use as a gemstone throughout history. And we've talked a little bit about that in previous streams. Next, we have some beautiful blue tiger's eye that you guys chose last night. And then after that, we'll do the druzy strand here. We had some different colors. Quentin Time says, love those chunky rondelles. I know, they're so pretty. We had some different colors of druzy beads, but you guys chose the rainbow ones last night. They've got kind of all of the colors together on them, which in my opinion is going to help kind of pull some of these bold colors together. So one of the most unanimous votes last night was these beautiful puffy amethyst beads here. So we had some purples to choose from, and this is one of the higher end strands, which means there will be fewer of them in the Choose Your Own Adventure kits, but they're just a showstopper, so we definitely needed to include them since you guys loved them so much. Next is a smaller amethyst, a little bit brighter of a color to kind of break up some of the darker colors, but still kind of along that same shade of the heliotrope. Oh, well, I'll pull him out of the tag later. And then after that, we have some matte fire polish in a 6mm and another 6mm fire polish in this beautiful iris color. This is another one that kind of has all of the colors included, which I think is great. And then our last strand is these beautiful table cut ovals. I don't know how easy it's going to be for me to use these actually on the memory wire that we've chosen to use, but we're going to try it. We'll see how it works. And if it doesn't, I've got a couple tricks to show you for how we can incorporate them into our designs without actually stringing them on the memory wire. So the last item that I want to show you is going to be the heliotrope crystals that we picked out last night, because how could we not use a heliotrope crystal when one of the colors is heliotrope? So I'm going to dump out a couple of my seed beads, and then we'll cut some memory wire. So when we're cutting memory wire, we want to make sure that we are using a memory wire cutter. It's very, very easy to accidentally grab the wrong cutter. And when you do that, you will damage your cutter if you try to cut memory wire with it. So if you're new to jewelry making and you're not sure what memory wire is, it's this slinky wire. So it's the kind of wire that stays put, and it makes almost like a bangle or a spiral cuff around your wrist. Comes in different sizes, it comes in different shapes even, but the idea is that it always kind of goes back to this original shape. It's great for making jewelry to sell because you don't have to worry about the sizes of people's wrists. It kind of expands and contracts to fit anyone. But you do have to keep that in mind when you're designing, because let's say you space beads directly on top of one another. They're maybe not going to stay on top of one another. I cut this off screen just so it wouldn't be so loud. But this is the memory wire cutter that I'm using. It now has blue handles, or I'm sorry, black handles, and I'm going to link that for you. Okay, so first I'm going to link the Choose Your Own Adventure kits if you would like to get some of these beads that we are using today, and then I'm going to link the memory wire. Actually, so I'll link memory wire and then I'll link memory wire cutters. How about that? That'll probably be smart. So how's everybody doing this morning? It's kind of a sleepy vibe to the weather here in the St. Louis area. I was at the coffee shop this morning and everybody was talking about how It's kind of nap weather. All right, so here is the link to that memory wire cutter. I'm going to start with my round nose pliers, and I am going to curl the end into a loop. There are memory wire ends that you can glue on if you wish. I prefer just curling the end over into a loop. So what I like to do is I'll grab the end right, I would say about 1 to 2 millimeters back from the end, and then I curl it inward. Whether you curl it inward or outward is just a personal preference. If you have a charm that you want to hang on the end, you might want to curl it outward so that the charm sits out a little bit more. But I usually curl it inward to start, just because that's, I think, the cleanest look on the end if you're not adding a charm. But like I said, personal preference. So let's go ahead and test some of these to see which ones are going to fit and which ones are not going to fit. So we had some concerns about the heliotrope crystals last night. It looks like they fit on. My concern is going to be the ones with the longer drill holes. The 8 millimeters fit just fine. Let's check these puffy coins. Yep, those are a perfect fit. The ovals are one of my concerns. Yeah, it looks like the ovals aren't going to fit on. You could probably force them, but you don't want to do that. So we're going to add the ovals on as we go, using kind of a different technique. I did not grab my copper spacers. I grabbed my copper jump rings and everything, but that's okay. We're going to roll with the punches, and I'll show you guys how to make some fun spacers out of these jump rings that I grabbed. So I have here on my mat some 16 gauge 5 millimeter jump rings. And what I'm going to do is hold them so that the break is at 12 o'clock. I'm going to close the jump ring with my pliers so that it is closed from all directions. Then what I'm going to do is pick up another jump ring, open it, loop through the first one, and then close it. And we're actually going to use this like a spacer. So we're going to string it onto our project. So I'm going to start with a few small beads. Let's maybe start with one of the little amethyst ones, and then maybe one of the fire polish. Let's go back and forth maybe between some of the seed beads. That might be fun. And then let's try a rondelle. And then another chunkier bead. I think that would be cool. So I'm going to take the time to string this all the way down. You don't have to do that, but it helps me to not drop the beads off the end. All right, that's kind of a cool look. What I might do is add another kind of darker, larger bead. So let's try one of the tiger's eye. And then I'm going to string this little jump ring on. And maybe I'll try another tiger's eye after it and see if I like the look of it. So you don't have to string it all the way down to see if you like the look of it. Test it, make sure you like it, and then you can string it all the way down. So yeah, I think that looks pretty cute. What do you guys think? Next, what I'm going to do is add a big pop of green here, and I'm going to show you how I'll use those beads without having the ability to string them directly on the memory wire. So I have a few head pins here. I'm going to string my bead And I'm gonna see, yeah, I think that'll be great. Okay, so I'm gonna string a seed bead on top. I'm gonna just test and see which, or maybe a crystal. No, let's do a seed bead. Yeah, I think that's a good look. So I'm going to make a closed wrap loop now. So I have my chain nose pliers. I'm going to bend the wire into a right angle. I'm going to switch to my round nose pliers. I'm going to grab the head pin directly on top of the beads. I'm going to push the wire up around the top and down. So it kind of looks like that. Jan says, I love the jump ring spacers. So easy and handy if you don't have anything else around. I agree. I use them so often. So because this is kind of a softer copper, I'm going to switch to grabbing across the loop with my chain nose pliers rather than holding it with my round nose pliers. If you're using a softer metal like sterling or gold filled or even some of the soft temperament coppers, if you grab in the loop like this and kind of squeeze too tight, you can end up putting some serious dents in your work. So I'm going to trim my tail end off. And this is what I have. I'm going to string that on. If you would rather add your charms on with jump rings after the fact, you can do that as well. But I think I'm going to string them on as I go to make sure I like what's happening. Oh, I think that's very cute. And because I think it's very cute, I'm going to do a few more. So I think I'll space it apart with one of the little amethyst beads, and then I'll make a few more charms. I just want to make sure this amethyst bead is large enough to separate it. And we'll see. We'll do another one and we'll test. It's either going to be perfect or it might be a little too tight. I'm going to make a clearing so that I can set my bracelet down. All right, so I'm going to pick up another head pin and another one of these beads here. And of course you can vary your charms. I want to have kind of like a punch or an impactful section in my work. So I'm going to use the same design in a row several times. So I'm going to make a quick wrapped loop here. And then I'm going to do one more. And if you are new to jewelry making and you're like, hold on, what did you just do? That was too fast. Even watching it slower before was not quite enough. We have a full video tutorial that goes in depth. Oh, not that one, this one. On how to do a wrapped loop. And that'll be called How to Make Beaded Earrings. And that is on my YouTube channel. So if you're watching on Facebook, my YouTube channel is Abby Berta. And that is the YouTube channel for the store. It's under my name because it was my channel before I was the decision maker, the primary decision maker. But I feel like it's pretty easy to find. So here we go. I am going to string this on. We'll see how we like the fit of that little purple one in between there. And then we'll see. Oh yeah, that's cute. I think that's perfect. It's just a little tight, but I think that that'll be darling. They'll kind of turn sideways and move around. I think that'll be super sweet. So there goes my last little dangle for that section. A lot of people like to stretch out their memory wire while they're working on it so that it's easier for them to slide the beads down, and that's perfectly fine. honestly, I don't like to do that when I'm working with smaller beads, because then I feel like it's harder for me to get the design to kind of sit tight when I'm done with it. And I like them to look like they're right next to each other. I don't want it to look like a loose spiral when I wear it. I want them to stay put. Okay, so let's do another blue tiger's eye, and then another jump ring spacer. Oh yeah, that's stinking cute, isn't it? Do you guys like the look of those little paddles hung down like that? Oh look, this one's almost done for me. All I have to do is close the rings all the way. So you can add more jump rings into these little rosettes. Like I often do 3 hooked together. But 2 is just fine, just for like a little pop of metal. And I really don't want to overwhelm the impact of these colors. They're so vibrant, I should say the green is so vibrant, and they are each bold colors, that I feel like if I added too much metal, it might end up looking a little bit busy. Here we go. I'll hold it so you guys can see the whole thing. Oh, I think that's so cute. I might do another section of these later on in the design. So I am going to just have some fun mixing in some things that inspire me. I might do another little back and forth section. And I want to make sure to use the heliotrope crystals that I'm so in love with in a section where they'll be impactful. So to me, when you have high contrast, it makes you appreciate each of the little individual beads. So what I think contrasts the most with the heliotrope is the matte fire polish. And so that's what I've chosen to use for this little section. I think that they work well together also. I think that's very cute. So I'm going to slide that down and see what I think it needs next. Oh yeah, that's sweet. So after this, I think we need to use some of these gorgeous coin amethyst pieces. I'm going to slide one of those on. And then, you know, I might even just do another section of the green and heliotrope after that. I think that would be darling. So I recently decided that I need to organize all of my clothes by color. So I've kind of always done that, but I need to be able to see everything. And I have a lot of t-shirts, and when you hang a t-shirt and a lot of your t-shirts look the same, it's kind of hard to see what's on the front of it, right? So I don't know, a few years ago decided that I would fold them all and stack them by color inside a cabinet, and or like a dresser, an armoire. Oh yeah, that's cute. I like that. We need some more blue now. So I worked with that setup for quite some time, and I really liked it. And I thought, I want to do this for everything. So I went to IKEA and I bought one of those calyx units, and I lined the wall with them. And it's like those cubes. And I have been having the best time just like organizing my clothes in them in a visually appealing way. And it's, I don't know, it just makes me happy. But I feel like when you have stuff around you that inspires you, even if it's something as mundane as your clothes, I don't know, I just think can translate to happiness and creativity in other aspects of your life. Oh yeah, I like that little section. I think that's cute. So I'm just going to finish that off by making that little section symmetrical. And that is stinking cute. Clem says, I fold my t-shirts inside out so that I can see what the front looks like. Your project sounds very cool. What do you mean inside out? I guess I don't understand what you mean. I fold mine so that, like I'll fold the sides in to make it a little bit more narrow so that the sleeves are tucked. And then I'll fold it in half and then in half again so that I can see like what's on the front part of the shirt. I'll share a picture of what I do. I think I've shared a picture before in my previous setup, but it's like, if I don't know, I used to be super active in our local music scene, and you know, every band has a black t-shirt. Like that's just that's just what happens. So not all of the black t-shirts have white printing on them. Some of them have other colors, but the shirt itself is black, and so that's the majority of my wardrobe. And I like them. It's just, you know, if I'm going for a specific shirt, it's hard to see unless it's folded. And also, my closet is not really, actually, I'm going to take this little section off and duplicate the dangles. My closet is not really accessible. It's just like it has an opening in the middle, you know, the door. And then it has shelves on either side that go back, and you can't really access them if there's clothes hanging. So I took all my clothes out of the closet. Well, I have like dresses in there. I don't have very many dresses, but I have a few hanging in the far back. And then I use the closet bar for my necklaces, for some of my necklaces, I should say. And I have those hanging in color order too. But I don't know, it has made it a lot easier to find stuff. It's probably not a very conventional way to go about things. Honestly, it kind of looks like a store, like when I walk into that room. As some of you guys may know, Alex, my partner, has a vintage clothing business, so he has a lot of clothes in his personal collection as well. And so he's got our master bedroom closet. That's his space. So my clothes are in in our other bedroom, guest bedroom, I guess. My clothes are in there. Clem says, what you describe works great. I just fold mine in half with the front showing and then into thirds. Oh, okay, I got it. That's cool. I thought you meant like you turned the shirt itself inside out. And I was like, well, how would you see what's on the outside? Like that seems like it's defeating the purpose. Like you're going the wrong way there. So I'm just making a few more of these little dangles. I think they're absolutely darling. This might be a lot for some people. So maybe you wouldn't want to have all of these dangles on your bracelet, but maybe you would want even more. But that's what's fun about making your own jewelry, is that you can do whatever you want. Okay, so on these, I'm going to do little purple amethyst dangle, purple amethyst dangle, and so on and so on. Before, I didn't start with the purple amethyst. Oops, forgot my dangle. Did I? Did I make a third one? Yeah, there it is. And the last one, I just did the little purple amethyst between them, but I wanted this to be a little different. Yeah, Clem says, nope, that wouldn't work. Yeah, probably not. Okay, so I'm going to do some of this gorgeous blue goldstone. And I think they would be a nice little section here with the druzy agate. It reminds me kind of like outer space, like we've got the stars in the night sky, and then, I don't know, like a nebula, maybe? Just galaxy vibes in general. I think this is cool. So we will do another section with some green probably after this. Oh yeah, that's starting to be super cute. I like that a lot. Okay, so we have not been using very many of the seed beads, so I think I'm going to do some seed beads and then a little amethyst coin, a seed bead, and we'll see how that behaves next to this. Oh yeah, that's pretty. I don't know. Should I do a couple more? I think if I do too much, they'll kind of overwhelm the design. Maybe I'll do another section like this of the matte fire polish and heliotrope. What do you guys think? I don't know, should I limit the coins so that they seem more special and so they don't, I don't know. Do you think they'll take over? I'm one of those people that like, I have to actually do it to see what's going to happen. But it's nice to not have to cut it apart to try again. You just restring it. You just take it off and restring it. Yeah, that's pretty cute. Maybe I'll do another section then of the chartreuse or the silverline lime, and then another coin, and another lime. Sweet. Yeah, that's a lot of green, and it's kind of sitting on one side there, but I kind of like that. I think it adds interest. And then keep in mind when the bracelet's on different wrist sizes, it'll sit a little differently. So now I think we are going to need some blue again. So I think I'm just going to do a fun little mismatch of sizes and shapes of all different blues that we have here. I think that would be fun, just like a little section. Yeah, I like that. And then, maybe we'll do another one of these. No, I think it needs something to break that up. Maybe we'll do just one of the tiny little chartreuse ones. Then one of these. Yeah, that's very cute. So I'm going to make one last little jump ring spacer. And then we'll kind of taper down to finish the bracelet. So if you love these beads that I'm using today, we do have the Choose Your Own Adventure Mystery Inspiration Kits available on the website. So you'll get a small collection of what we are designing with today. And I'm going to link that for you guys. And make sure whenever you are shopping that you pick the right colorway. We do have some kits available from previous months, so you'll want to make sure that you are selecting the one that says heliotrope chartreuse and pageant blue. Oh yeah, that's very cute. Very, very cute. And then a lot of times what I like to do to finish off my bracelets is I will kind of duplicate the same thing that I already, or that I started with, I should say. I don't know. Should I take this off and just duplicate that last bit? Maybe I should. Maybe I'll cut it just a hair shorter. No, I think I'm going to keep going. Maybe I'll do one more little jump ring section after that. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Maybe one more of the coins. And then another chartreuse. And that should get me to where I need to be so I can use the rest of the length here. Because one thing that I learned the hard way when I first started making jewelry was that the heavier the beads you use on your memory wire bracelets, the more it's going to want to stretch out. So because we've got a fair amount of large, heavy beads here, we need that length to kind of support the bracelet so it doesn't just stretch out. So the more length you add, the more it'll the more the weight will be dispersed over the bracelet and it'll behave a little bit. With that being said, if all that length is heavy beads though, you're really not getting anywhere by adding length. So that's kind of why I like to taper down a little bit so that I'm adding the length for security. So your bracelet's not wanting to jump off your arm, but you have you don't have the added weight because you've tapered down in the size of your beads. Okay. So I have started and stopped with the same little pattern here. I'm going to give myself what I do, and I mean, I'm sure you could measure, and I'm sure most people do, but what I do is I just do like the width of my finger. And I cut the tail end off, and then I curl it in. And that seems to me to be about the right amount. But then sometimes it's not. So then what I'll do is cut right here on the end and keep curling until it is. Sorry, my plier slipped. I'm sure that was loud. So I generally just keep working at it like that until I'm happy with it. And I'm trying to get the right angle so you guys can see here, but essentially I'm just curling it in until it's perfect like that. And now we have a cute bracelet. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, you guys. This was fun. Thanks to everybody who chatted with me in the chat. The bead place is about to open, so I have to put away all the equipment and get the store ready to open. We have open tables today from 1 until 4:30, I think. And then next weekend is the Great Bead Extravaganza. So I will see you guys next Wednesday. Sorry, next Wednesday for Monthly Fun Pack opening, next Thursday for creating with Monthly Fun Pack, and then next weekend for the preview party on Friday for Bead Extravaganza, and then our presentation is Sunday. Thank you so much, you guys. Bye.